Chris is 59, and he was in a managing director role for 35 years and then found himself without. And he writes that he does very well in the phone interview or the screening part of the process. But then when he shows up in a Zoom talk, he says that he's DOA because he's being interviewed by hiring managers who are like 30 years younger than him. And he doesn't really see a way out. I know that's not an unfamiliar story. So let's play back what we would say to someone like Chris who feels they've aged out of being a contributor.
It's easy to feel like you've aged out of being a contributor. And to be honest with you, I think that the first place we have to fix that is in our own head. And I didn't say you, and you notice I'm not saying you or them, I'm saying us. Maybe not you, Tony. But the first place that you have to really fix that is in your own head. And that's the topic that we were talking about earlier when you said, what sort of conversations do you really need to be prepared for? That is the primary focus, that we really dig down to figure out your core value. So unique value proposition is a phrase that gets thrown around a lot, and some people glaze over when they hear it. But if you think about those first two words, unique and value. Unique means that no one else is bringing this to the table. No one else that's 35, no one else that's 29, no one else that's 43 is bringing this to the table. And now let's talk about, and I don't mean, well, let's go to the second word, value. Value isn't experience. Value isn't your accomplishments. I know that's a big one for a lot of people. What do you mean my accomplishments aren't valuable? I didn't say that. Those accomplishments, they're valuable to you because you use those experiences to do your job well. Problem is, on the other side of the table, that's not the value to them. So when we're talking about value, we're not talking about all the things that you find valuable. We're talking about how every single one of those accomplishments, every single one might be an overstatement, all your accomplishments, all your characteristics, all the experiences that you've ever had, all put together, what value does that create? So instead of talking about the puzzle pieces and all the different things that you've done, which I'll be honest, because that younger audience will start yawning through that. It doesn't have the same register to them. But when you start talking about, when you put all those pieces of the puzzle into a picture and start talking about the picture first, the benefit. So value is the benefit of all those things, what it means to them. And when the conversation shifts to that, you now have those two words put together, unique. I'm the only one that can bring this to the table in this way, and this is what you're going to get out of it. And you would be surprised at the executive level. And unfortunately, this doesn't always work at the non-executive levels, but this is the advantage you have as an executive, because they're not hiring for succession planning necessarily. They're not hiring for where you're going to be 5 years from now. Average executive role is only about 18 to 24 months anyway. They're not looking for Mr. or Mrs. Right. They're looking for Mr. or Mrs. Right now. They're looking for the solution to their problem. And the more the conversation shifts towards that, the more the rest of their preconceived notions about age and all that, but we really need this. When I was headhunting, I had a client come in and I brought in the final three. I brought in the three that they wanted to see. And this was a company, then most of them were hoodie wearing 27-year-olds. Matter of fact, the two founders were 20 and early 30s. And they were hiring a CFO. And I had 3 CFOs. All of them, by the way, hair about the color of mine. And one of them in particular was already talking about age discrimination from the beginning of the process. He had it in his mind that there's no way that these kids are going to hire a 53-year-old. Okay. Now, he said that. I didn't ask him his age. Another one of them, he was so excited about this technology. He had actually had some experience with this technology. He was actually telling these guys things about the technology they didn't even know. But he was just excited and loved their energy and thought this was great and was really excited to take this and translate it to the investors and how they were going to get funding. And they were missing a few things, but he was going to straighten that all out. And I remember him saying to me, I don't know how it came up, but he had told me he was 57. I didn't ask, he told me. And when they hired the 57-year-old. And this guy, this 57-year-old, by the way, looked same age as everybody else, blew away all the biases that you don't know that it's my way or the highway. You don't know how things work today. These are all the biases that exist around age. It's not gonna help your case if you get on a Zoom call and you're like, I don't know how to work all this newfangled stuff. Or your LinkedIn isn't on point and it looks like you're a complete late adopter of LinkedIn. Oh no, I don't get into all that stuff. All that feeds right into the stereotype. So when we're coaching our members around, getting to that stage in the process, we're really working on focusing on your value and not falling into a lot of the stereotypes that are going to feed these subconscious biases that actually exist.